Happy Thursday. And also happy Juneteenth. Some of you who are watching this may not know what Juneteenth is. For 99% of my life, I didn't know what Juneteenth was. And then I did a little reading and I talked to people. I realized it is a significant remembrance that was lost to history, and I'm glad it's being brought back into the light. Our offices are closed today, but I'm here. Women's ministry is having their Bible study. They're going to do one during the summer. It won't be every Thursday morning, but we'll let you know. Join them. They have a great group and they have a great time. First of all, huge props to our women's ministry again for an absolutely incredible and fun BLT bar Sunday for Father's Day. We had an unbelievable crowd. There were a lot of people here. And they had a blast at the BLT bar. So women's ministry, thank you. Salud. Okay. Question is, what is your natural default response when you encounter a situation, either with another person or something happens or you find out something new that requires a response? Some of us freeze in the moment and we don't know what to do because we want to make the best or the most correct decision that we can in the moment. Some jump into action and man, they're blowing and going. They're taking care of things. Some are more thoughtful, let's think about our reaction to this. But sometimes the situation doesn't always give you the freedom to take your time. We're going to transition to what we're going to talk about this Sunday. I'll tell you about my weekend. This has been a tough week. Thursday, when I got home from work, I have a 35 to 40 gallon hexagon fish tank. Fed the fish, we ate dinner, came back out to check on them, turned the light from white to blue, and I noticed water leaking out of my fish tank. Looked on the floor, it had been leaking for a little while. Well, that is, any person who owns a big fish tank, that is their worst nightmare. Other than something getting in their tank and killing all their fish, having a leak in your tank is bad news. The tank, Janet and I aren't really sure. The tank is either 20 plus years old because I replaced it at some point. We've always had a fish tank. Or it's 40 something years old because it's just the same one we got when we first got married. We're not really sure, but we had it a long time. And the silicone waterproofing on the inside was just old and falling apart. So there was this freaking out in the moment, I've got to drain this tank because it's leaking on the floor. I've got to transfer the fish to something else that's big enough and that maybe I can attach the filter to keep them alive. And so in the moment, my mind is doing advanced logistics and physics about draining the tank, moving the fish, all of this kind of stuff. Well, eventually I moved him to a tote and we ended up getting another fish tank. But it was the realization that the situation wouldn't allow me not to do anything. Once I discovered that my tank was leaking, it demanded action. I had to do something. And that's going to be kind of the natural direction that we're going to go this Sunday. When we move from last Sunday, it's bringing hidden things to light. It's now that I know these things about myself, now that I've done my step 4 of making a fearless moral inventory of all the things that I need to deal with. Those that I knew about, those that I had hidden, those things that were just hidden. Now that they're brought into the light, I can't just ignore them or stay in the same place. It requires me to take action. I've got to do something now that I know those things. And so we have to kind of look into ourselves and see what our default reaction is. Am I a person who says, okay, now that I know these things, now that I've discovered these hidden things, brought them into the light, I can't unknow them. I can't go back to the way things were. And I want you to kind of feel what your tendency is in the moment When you're faced with a decision that you know stuff that you didn't know before, do you freeze in the moment? Do you jump into action? Do you try to put some thoughtful plan together? This Sunday, we're going to wrap up the action portion of being transformed. Next Sunday, we'll kind of take a turn, but this Sunday, it's really the last step in the process of being transformed. And it's learning those things inside of us that keep us from stepping into action and doing the things that we need to do. And we're going to hit some very practical, real life issues that we all struggle with. I saw myself in them big time. As we learn and figure out how to push through our own tendency to maybe not do anything when we find out new things about us. So, looking forward to that. Again, the office is closed today, but we hope to see you Sunday. Remember, there's no promised land for school-age children, but we have packets to hand out. But we do have childcare for preschool, and a bunch of them this past Sunday. So we really need some workers. You're seeing new faces on the worship team, which is exciting. So just stay in touch. Keep up with what's going on. Invite somebody. It looks like you are. And enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you Sunday. Take care.